Well, hey, next up on the list is a song about Paul Stanley's dick and how this girl's going to get some of his dick.
And it's about Paul Stanley's dick. How this girl's going to get some of his dick.
Love Gun, next on the list. About Paul Stanley's dick and how this girl's going to get some of his dick.
I'm not going to attempt the RNG again, so.
I love this song so much.
Yeah, it's a great ode to one's own genitalia. It's way worse than the original version in almost every way.
Yep.
It's way worse than the Titty City version in almost every way, too.
Yeah, this Paul has a better feel on the bass for this song than Gene does. And I think that the production, like the guitars just have more life and energy and brightness on the original, where they have like this like rich, full texture that they're kind of missing on this version. So like, the production is just so much weaker on this version, where it's louder and heavier, but it sounds much more lifeless in comparison. So, a limper Love Gun.
A limper,
the double
older,
vocal sucks as well.
Somewhat tired Love Gun.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jamie.
Representative.
Yeah, the vocal's much weaker. I'm sorry, Jose, you were saying?
Perfect representation of what you hear live these days, of this song.
Well, this is the backing track they use on the End of the Road tour.
It's also the Paul Stanley vocal they use.
But it feels the most balanced in terms of, just the instruments. In terms of the song as a piece of music, I think it's probably one of the better ones captured on the album.
Other than the guitar solo, I agree. I think Tommy does not do this solo well, or he did not do that one take of that solo well.
Right. I mean, look, it's really hard to play a major key scale, man.
Yeah, when you're going up that pentatonic shape, it's rough.
Yeah, it's really hard to do like a literal scale. Yeah.
To be fair, as a non-guitarist, I use that as like a warm-up shape thing, and I'm not a guitarist, and I wager that after I've played that for about 5-10 minutes, I do it better than Tommy did that day.
So you're saying that you should be the new guitarist for Kiss?
I'm saying it wouldn't be great. So long as the entirety of the show was like, God of Thunder and Watching You and The Oath.
So you're saying easy Kiss songs, so Kiss songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that much to say. It's Love Gun. It's not as good as the original. Does anyone have anything to contribute about this?
This is... Oh, so go right ahead.
Okay, I wasn't on the episode about this song, so I just want to talk about the song itself a little bit, which is just, Paul Stanley wearing his 7-inch leather heels. It's impressive that he was able to limbo underneath the extremely low bar set by their lyrics for this particular song. It's honestly a feat when you think about it. Just how bad and how lazy these lyrics are.
They still rank in the top half of Kiss lyrics, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is impressive how bad these lyrics are and how awesome Paul Stanley thinks this song is. And the thing is, like, this song is awesome. And I want to sing along to it because it's catchy and it's awesome and it rocks. And those chord movements are really, really, really awesome.
But then you find yourself thinking about the words that you're singing.
And then I'm like, I don't want to be this excited about your penis. Because this song is just about your penis.
I'm fine being excited that much about Paul's penis, I think, because I think the song rocks that hard. I'm perfectly fine with it. I love how they took. I love how he took his love of Free and Paul Rodgers and went, "Oh, I love the song The Hunter so much that that I've heard Free do the cover of. That I'm gonna take the Love Gun word and then I'm gonna make it even more obvious that it's about my dick." I love it. Genius.
I mean, I would say the musicality of the song I actually would say is genius, because he heard all the riffs in his head and then learned how to play them when he got off the plane, because he was on a plane ride to Japan, heard the song and then learned how to play it. And like the riffing is brilliant, and his sense of arrangement of the song is brilliant. We're just like him being so specific on what the kick pattern needed to be and what the bass line needed to be. Like, it's a musical masterpiece. And I mean, you know, what is most art if not just like a way of saying my penis is rad? Because like when you write a book or, you know, make a movie, what are you trying to do? You're trying to impress women to get laid. Like, hey, I made this art with my big dick energy. Check out my dick. So ultimately, Love Gun is maybe the most honest expression of that, and therefore the greatest piece of art made by humans. Therefore, this recording is a masterpiece. Any other comments?
The song is a masterpiece and a national treasure, and
the subject
this recording,
matter also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. National. Yeah.
According to Metal Sludge, yes.
His 9-inch national treasure.
7 to 9 inch national treasure.
Yes, Nicolas Cage is like, we need to find Paul Stanley's penis and steal it.
Oh, can that please be National Treasure 4 or 3, whatever it would be?
I would go watch that one.
I would watch that too, yeah. But
I have to trade my face for Paul Stanley's penis. In a face
You're gonna take his penis off.
face hog.
I'm gonna Love Gun off.
Yeah.
I think we know what the next fan fiction is.
Yes.
Face off the music. Right? Face
Yes.
The music, this book.
Backstage pass, face off the music too.
No, this I ranked this pretty low due to the recording and mainly how bad the guitar solo was. I love the song Love Gun. The song Love Gun is a real Kiss classic and all that. But this recording I just thought was kind of lifeless, and you know, there are the drums on the original are just so perfect. Because at times there are 2 tracks going. You can hear fills happening while the main rhythm is being played, and things that are just impossible for any 2-armed, 2-leg human to do. So they clearly double tracked a good amount of the tune, and the fact that they didn't make Eric sit down again and just kind of run through it once more to get it a little closer to the studio thing, to have the 2 layers going.
In their defense, this song is about a 3-legged man.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the silence after that, other than me laughing, made me laugh more.
It made me more proud of it.
Of the joke or the national treasure?
It's all working together for me.
I don't remember. Jose, did we get your thoughts on this one? Deafening silence. He's
Deafening silence.
Busy looking at the penis chart on Metal Sludge and shocked at what he's finding.
I was just trying to validate what you were saying. Yeah, I have nothing to add.
So this album was recorded about the same time as the album Drum Machine Gun, or the compilation Drum Machine Gun, was put together. So maybe the 3-legged thing actually is a reference to him being a robot.
Ooh. All right. Well, hey, speaking of things I don't care about, next up on the list is this recording of I Was Made for Loving You.
That's fair. I put this at number 2, but it is not as good as the original. That bridge just like the energy down.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Stanley can't sing that kind of falsetto anymore.
God, no.
But bless him for trying. This is sort of in between the Alive 3 version and the original studio version, but they're like, we want to rock it up a little bit more. because we like the Alive 3 version, but we also still want to sell it to commercials, so we can't make it be that much more rocking. So it kind of splits the difference between the two, and it's fine, I guess.
So an interesting thing to consider when discussing like vocals on this album not being quite as good is when you're talking about license and sync kind of stuff, half of that is going to be instrumental versions. So it's distinctly possible that for a lot of this, they didn't really care what the vocals sounded like, just so long as there was a vocal there. And, you know, anything that they were syncing it with that used the vocal version would get, you know, compressed and mangled by the new mastering process anyway. And anything that didn't, the vocals don't matter because they're cut.
I just realized if we were ranking a bunch of songs from commercials, we could have just been ranking the Long, Long Mans instead. So
long man.
We just dropped the ball.
What's that?
No, I jack off. No, I jack off.
Where did I put that one?
I want to be at that party. What's that party? That is
Just me and that guy.
What category I put that in?
all red.
So, Gavin,
Yeah.
open up YouTube in another tab. Don't watch it until after this podcast, but just look up Long, Long Man and just watch the whole thing.
And then watch it.
Okay.
And
All
just trust me, like, open it right now so you don't forget.
Yeah, let me get this
I'm
going.
gonna do this as well.
Yeah, and
It's
just
not for you.
well, Victor, you've
But
seen it, right? You've seen Long, Long Man.
I have. Oh, now that I see the thumbnail, yes, I have seen this.
But I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so save that for later. The best series of television commercials of all time, even surpassing the Colt 45 commercials.
Wow.
Yeah, I know they're that good. But I Was Made for Loving You. It's a classic.
It is in the gross sex category. I don't know why it's not playing though.
No, I jack off really loud.
Yeah, I Was Made for Loving You. Yeah, it's a good song. This version isn't as good as the original. Jose, thoughts?
And it's about Paul Stanley's dick. Now this girl's gonna get some of his dick.
I like the toughening up of it by, it's a downshoe, didn't it? So, you know, again, it's a big brass pair of ghoulies that they even thought to put this one on. And I like, you know, Steve saw it's on, you know, most of these would have been instrumental tracks because some of those, you know, were used as well for other things. The instrumental forever got used on some competition for, can't even remember what it was, but it was used in a Kiss-related competition where people could add their vocal or something to it, which...
Sing it better than Paul Stanley.
Harsh, but fair.
Kiss karaoke.
Spelled with, well, I mean, spelled with a K
Kissioki.
because that's how the word's spelled.
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
Like, I'm just picturing Kiss frantically trying to find a C that they can replace with a C and with a K in the word karaoke. Like, how do we make this more
Where is it?
Kiss? Ah!
Jamie, how did you feel about this re-recording?
Nothing new to add, really. Yeah, the backing sounds fine. The band sound fine. The vocals don't.
Hey, speaking of that exact same sentiment, next up on the list is Detroit Rock City.
I was glad the voiceover went. That drives me crazy every time I listen to the song. The 2 minute, like the first time I ever heard the track, I thought it was really cool in the context of Destroyer. The whole the radio call coming in and the car crash and all that kind of nonsense. But with this compilation, because you're already going through enough, it's great to not have to go through that as well. I thought the band sounded absolutely fantastic on this. I thought the band sounded as good as they did on any of the other re-records on this, and the backing vocals sound superb as well. Paul sounds like Paul.
The cheesy sound effects that they put on it, because it's like out of the cheapest library possible. It's like a Hyundai or a Kia as a car. Yeah, I'm revving my Kia, my Prius.
Yeah, because we all know that
again, Tesla.
We all know that Prius owners are wild and reckless and always get into car crashes by, going to Kiss concerts. I think this song is better without the sound effects. That's why my favorite studio version is the one off the very best of Kiss. where they just get rid of all the car sound effects, and you can really hear how just massive everything sounds. I don't know why they needed car sound effects on this version and shitty car sound effects at that. But I mean, it's a solid version of the band performing a classic song in their catalog. Not as good as the original studio version, not as good as most live versions, but I mean, this album in a lot of ways feels like a soundboard mix of a Kiss concert from this era where the band just was having kind of an off night.
I always thought that this song would sound better being done by a group of weird middle-aged Japanese musicians. So the fact that these weird middle-aged musicians did it for a Japanese audience, I think, is as close as we're going to get from the real band.
This version is at least better than the smashes, thrashes, and hits mix of the original.
Well, everything on Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits sounds like shit, except I Love It Loud is strangely fascinating, because, like, what if I Love It Loud was on Hot in the Shade? Which is just, like, it's definitely not good, but it's at least fascinating.
Fair enough, yeah.
This is
There is a
fine.
crash cymbal that Eric has that he I forget exactly which fill, but it's the heaviest, clunkiest crash cymbal I've ever heard. And it to the point where when I was listening through to it, I could never get through this song in one go. I'd always have to like repeat that section to just listen to how bad one of his crash cymbals is. And I've never done that in a song before. I heard a cymbal and went, that cymbal sound is so bad, I need to pause this song and just try and admire, or wonder about the thought process from him picking out that cymbal to put on the kit, to him playing it in a take, to them listening to it in the control room, to it going out to the public.
Yeah. Although with cymbals, it could be, how much of that is the cymbal itself and how much of that is just weird mic placement. If they're like, the overheads sound perfect on the kick and snare right where they are, it's just this one cymbal sounds wonky and he refuses to move it to a new location. Or we put the overheads where we put them. And then that cymbal happened. It's probably one of those two.
It's more of a. I think it's just the way that he hit this cymbal, because it doesn't necessarily crash so much as it just kind of like. It's almost like he hit the ride by mistake, but not even like as a crash kind of hit. With the shoulder of the stick on the side of the cymbal. It just kind of. I don't know. It fell apart.
Just like his cymbal stand fell over halfway through during the fill. And was like, you know what? It's in time. It'll work.
Yeah. Hey, the catering got delivered. We'll finish up this take and then go have lunch.
So, Victor, you're, the resident Kiss expert here. How does this stack up?
Original's way better. I don't like the sound effects either. I as a professional guy who knows a lot about Kiss, I especially like the part where Paul Stanley goes, "No, I'm gonna die. Why?" And
just going real Waluigi with it.
This song sung by Waluigi would be amazing.
Time to die. Wah!
Detroit Donk City.
I remember everything.
The other thing I noticed about this song is that it's very it's meta in a way that I can only think of one other song being meta. So at one point he says, "I heard my song on the radio," and it goes, and then he sings the song, so that's like a weird like time influx thing, which is very similar to the Van Morrison song "Brown Eyed Girl," where he says, "Do you remember when we used to sing?" And then he sings "Brown Eyed Girl" by Van Morrison. Which I always thought to be very funny. And this song does it too.
Isn't Land of a Thousand Dances does the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah, so really this song is just the Final Fantasy 1 of the Kiss catalog and that time loop.
Yeah, exactly. I also appreciate that canonically Paul Stanley is dead, which I think is a Beatles reference.
Wrong Paul.
His throat, maybe. That being said, I will be at the Oakland show in March.
They're still going to be touring by March. This is the worst.
Yeah.
This is the worst last tour ever.
Well, it's a 3-year farewell tour, is what they said.
I keep on hearing that 3-year number, and every time I'm flabbergasted and say that's the stupidest shit.
Well, they were
Have you heard of Kiss? That's what they do. Stupid shit.
Yeah.
They rescheduled this from like last year. They were supposed to be here in California, but I forget what month it was. But they moved it to March.
Jamie, do you have anything in particular to add about this track?
Not more than what I've already said.
And Jose, anything else to add before we move on?
Next.
I like that we brought you on. You're just like, no, these are bad. Next song.
And then we read our embarrassing fan fiction at you.
Right. I guess the problem is that like we invited Julian, but he sent Jose instead.
Right. All right, so next up on the list, let's see, how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, thank God. Okay, next up on the list is Shout It Out Loud. Man, does this suck in comparison to the original. This song really needs a big, giant Bob Ezrin production to shine. The intro to the song when they play it live and the intro to the song on this sounds flat without some big, gigantic piano reverby stuff in the background. When you don't have that reverb, the song sounds empty and is lacking that like rich Phil Spector wall of sound that the original has. The original is a masterpiece of production, a masterpiece of songwriting. All in all, home run, works on every level, and this is just limp and lifeless. And then when the piano comes in halfway through the song, they're like, oh shoot, we need to add piano to this. It's like they forgot and then just added it later when they got halfway through, like, isn't there like a piano line here? Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
And it's the same bad MIDI piano as on Christine 16. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, once again, when I listened to this one, my initial thought was, wow, those gang choruses are weirdly clean and low energy, but great for commercials. Like you get a thinner mix that doesn't take up the entire audio spectrum, especially all throughout the mids, and you slap that in a commercial and you put a voiceover on it and make money.
Well, and it's funny, when I was listening through it and making my notes, I was thinking, the vocals in this one aren't terrible. And then you get to the ending and Paul, when they're kind of trading, Paul and Gene are trading riffs at the end as it's fading out. Paul at one point sings, I hear it getting louder, and sounds like a 97-year-old man when he says it. He would be the neighbor in the next apartment, kind of, hitting your wall with the broom. I hear it getting louder.
I hear it getting louder.
I hear it getting louder.
You know what? That criticism, while completely true, hurt my soul so much that I just want to take a moment to say I am a Kiss fan. I do love this band. And this amount of relentless criticism is actually hurting me a little bit. Because, like, even though this is all completely valid, like, oh, man, this is... Okay, continue.
I love
cut
the
of
band.
Knife, a little piece of you dies inside.
The RNG finally favored us. I've just been sort of like hovering over the gross sex drop, hoping that we could get that one eventually. Such a good commercial, you guys. Go buy, what's it called? Sakura gummy, if you're in Japan, ever. Buy them.
Okay, so I'm sorry. We got derailed there. Who was talking?
Was I? I forget.
The long man was talking.
Yes.
Which is Paul.
Talking.
Right. I'm sorry, Jose, were you about to say something about Shout It Out Loud?
I hate this song, but I hate this song. I really tried hard to find something nice to say about it, and I like the tambourines.
No, do you mean just this recording or just the song Shout It Out Loud?
The song.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's always been that one song that just bugs the living shit out of me.
Huh.
I don't know why. Maybe it's too happy for me. I really don't know. But, like I said, MIDI tambourines obviously are my thing.
So it's you and Andy Jones in the anti Shout It Out Loud club.
Bunch of damn savages.
I the ending of this version is too abrupt. Just ending on that dun 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 dun, dun and just out like it
doesn't have the reverb and power of the original, and so the original rings out more, and then it feels more grand. It's just like, oh, I guess that's it. This is a fine soundboard recording of the show, I guess.
Yeah, well, but even in the show, they would, hold out the last note a little bit, bang, kind of thing. And they should have done that here.
Shoulda, coulda, didn't. Jamie, you ranked the second. Why do you like bad-sounding things?
Well, I can't believe I got let off for ranking Christine 16 so high as well. But I'll brush past that. I just love the song so much. Despite spending the entirety of this podcast slating songs for sounding like really shitty recordings, even when they're some of the best written songs in the Kiss catalogue, I love this song so much that I had to rank it really highly. Even though they sound super sanitized in comparison to the original, there are still some moments of rough in there. If you give it another listen through, you can hear like strings that should be muted that absolutely weren't. And it reminded me of that Dead Good string advert that Paul Stanley played on. Is it Raw or Sound? Probably not. Ernie Ball. It's Ernie Ball, the guitar string manufacturer. It's one of the greatest videos on the internet for me. It's just Paul Stanley playing riffs for 10 minutes and talking. Yep. And he just seems super cool and super chill. And like the way that he plays in that, it's like having the solo button on the multitrack for any Kiss song. And I feel like all of the rough and warts were kind of brought out on Shout It Out Loud on this, despite it just sounded like Shout It Out Loud as a pop song. So yeah, I love this song loads. And the fact that Gene has to sing on it means that whoever's doing all the tuning after the fact can't tune it too hard because Gene can still sing. So backing off on the tuning on Paul has helped it out a lot. I'll defend this song to the death. Fight me.
So it's got guitar burrs, but not vocal burrs.
Well, there's still vocal burrs, but the guitar playing sounds like Kiss as opposed to Kiss with loads of editing in between to mute out all the Kiss bits. I just love this song. I think it's great.
It sounds like Kiss, but Kiss if they played all the right notes, which just
exactly.
Who wants to hear that?
Exactly. Parasite would be half the song if it was all played right.
So Victor, Kiss expert Victor. Historian Victor. How do you feel about this versus the original?
Original's a lot better. I like the part where Gene goes, "You got to have a party." I was like, you're so fucking right, dude.
You got to have a party. Mandatory.
I don't think we can top that comment. Anything else on Shout Out Loud before we move on? All right. Well, hey, next up on the list, we're at the number 3 spot in this ranking. We've got Calling Dr. Love next on the list. Steve, how does this compare to the original?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I had positive things to say about this one, actually. It sounded weird. Like, I checked my notes, and the old one felt slow and low energy, and this one felt less so. And I'm suspecting that's just because this may have been more of a throwback song than I really thought when I first listened to it. So when it actually is thrown back in the midst of a bunch of their older, slower songs, it actually sounds all right in context. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
My hot take.
All right, I'll give you one on this.
I keep missing the
actually.
button.
Ooh, yeah.
One of my pet peeves on any recording are fucking guitar finger scraping squeaks. And there are so many in this song. It just drove me to distraction. I fucking hate that. I mean, I know sometimes they're just a part of actually playing, but when they're so obvious, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't listen to Hard Luck Woman anytime soon, buddy. Whew.
Or Rock Bottom.
Or any Kiss song. I don't know. Just that's I think good life advice in general.
Calling Dr. Love, this version's fine. I think the original is better. I think this one has more energy than the original studio version, but I think the original has a certain charisma and swagger that this one doesn't. Like, Rock and Roll Over is kind of a laid-back album, but that's kind of why it's cool. It's like a Joe Walsh record in a lot of ways, where it's not necessarily like the high-energy arena rock you think it is. It's like it's a laid-back, swaggery rock, and I think that works for this song on that original album. This version's fine. It's like a soundboard version of the band playing it, but they did better on this song than the other songs in the set that night.
I wish that this version had the weird backwards vocals that the double platinum cut of it had. But other than that, this song is, it's they played it.
They sure did play that
sure
song.
Played it.
Yeah, they showed us they remember how it goes.
There were a bunch of notes, and they remembered them.
Jamie, did you notice they remembered how it goes?
What was that? Sorry.
I'm saying, did you notice that they remembered how it goes?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it sounded like they took a song that was recorded by one of the greatest recording engineers in rock and roll history, but they just put it through the sausage maker that is Pro Tools, and they chopped it up and they put it all into time and they put it all into tune and they took all of the rock out of it.
Yeah. Victor, you ranked this pretty high. How do you feel about this in comparison to the original?
I recall hearing this song on a Dr. Pepper commercial, and I guess enjoying a commercial as much as one can. I do like how, like, if you break it down to some more like elemental pieces, it's basically the same song as Christine 16, only slightly less wretched. Like, you could go, they call me Christine 16, which would be weird because I don't think he's her in that song. But like, the choruses are very similar, which I find
her
amusing.
in every song.
They could have just done it as like Christine 26 specially crafted ingredients.
One note that I had here is that the first two lyrics of this song are horrible, as are the rest of them. Except the part where he says there's no bills. I liked that.
Well, yeah, socialized medicine.
Medicare for all guy.
Oh, man.
Single payer. You know what? We're probably going to get hate comments on that. Like, which is actually not a good idea. People can just use GoFundMes. Oh, it's sad.
I think overall, I prefer this version to the original. I get the Jamie's thing about it not having a lot of soul, but I do appreciate that it sounds modern, where the original one, it sounds kind of thin to me. But I think the original drum playing is way better than on here.
100%.
Yeah, that is a incredibly fair, reasonable, nuanced take from our resident Kiss expert, Victor. Thank you so much.
I had this song at number 3, so good job, everybody.
Yeah, go team.
Go team democracy.
Hey, speaking of democracy failing, next up on the list is Rock and Roll All
I'm
Night.
done talking about this great song.
Yeah, Rock and Roll All Night, number 2 in our ranking. Why didn't they bother to put in the solo? Like, why did they decide, you know what our template needs to be? The studio version of the song that wasn't a hit.
This album's already 15 tracks long. I'm not going to complain about them using the shorter version.
I mean,
good choice, guys.
But I feel like the solo has become an iconic part of the song at this point, and it's one of the great solos in the Kiss catalog, one of the great rock and roll guitar solos, period.
So then why let Tommy butcher
Who
it?
listens to commercials for the solos?
Yeah, I want to hear Tommy ruin that solo.
Yeah.
I want to hear him do it in one take and be like, oh, wait, I could have done that better. Oh, we're done? Okay, that's cool.
We ran out of time at the studio. My Paul and Preb, sorry. I'll leave.
No, stay.
He sounds like a cartoon bear.
Hey.
A sleepy cartoon bear.
But yeah, Rock and Roll All Night, it's the rock and roll national anthem. It's one of the greatest rock songs ever.
And much like the regular national anthem, most people play it very badly.
Right?
So it's really the perfect version of the song.
I don't think they play it badly. I think they play it fine. It's just, I really thought this was a good opportunity to put in the guitar solo. Like, I don't, but you know what? Whatever. It's okay, I guess. It's another version of Rock and Roll All Night, a song that is, criminally under-recorded by other bands. If only some other bands would record the song for once.
They probably did, Greg, actually. I don't know.
Yes, there's lots of bands who recorded the song.
I think. You're just sounding real ignorant right now.
Yeah, I don't know
it's
anything.
like, hey, other bands, stop playing Odyssey and start covering, Rock and Roll All Night.
Yeah, thank you. Other bands cover Odyssey way too much. It's overplayed
I know.
at this point.
Kiss expert Victor, can you chime in? Has somebody covered the song before?
Toad the Wet Sprocket. They covered it.
Oh, okay, there we go.
So
Poison, but they're not a good band.
Poison's great, sir. I will fight you.
Yeah.
Rockin' Pod 4, like I will be Rocky, you'll be Drago. We'll duke it out, bro. And then we'll hurt each other so much with brain damage that we'll permanently ruin each other's lives. It'll be great.
I like that you picked that you get to be the guy who wins that fight.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Who gets to be Paulie and all of that? That's the really important one, because Paulie's the true hero. of
Ooh,
Rocky
dibs on
IV.
Paulie. He gets to be drunk the whole time.
Yeah, you are the Paulie in my life.
Hit the one in the middle, Greg. Hit the one in the middle.
Rock and Roll All Night. So, Jamie, how did you feel about this being a thing they did?
Yeah, they did it, didn't they? Didn't they really do it? It's another one of those where kind of I'm grateful that it exists amongst this collection of recorded Kiss songs, because again, Paul and Gene both have to exist vocally on the same song, which means that they either have to hard tune Gene, which they don't need to do because Gene still sounds great, so they back off on Paul a little bit so he doesn't sound so robot-y, and that's great. But yeah, they could have done more with the gang vocals, couldn't they? More gangs, come on, more gangs.
More gangs.
But that's just the I Love Def Leppard in me coming out, I think.
That was a VH1 series, right?
I Love Def Leppard. Yeah, I think so.
Got a bunch of C-list comedians up there to talk about Def Leppard.
Kathy Griffin just making all the awkward jokes.
I was imagining it as a dating show, like the Flavor of Love kind of thing. Where,
honestly, I would watch
dates
either.
with the full
Leopard
band.
of Love.
Leopard of Love. There you go.
Love is death.
Leah, I was about to say Love is Deaf, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I like that you guys came up with good ones, and my brain went to Def Love Purd.
Julian, what's your name for a Def Leppard love reality show? Oh, sorry, Jose. What's your name for a Def Leppard love reality
Julian's
show?
friend, Jose.
Yes.
Probably high and dry.
Respectable. Rock and Roll All Night. Julian, how do you... Jose, sorry, how do you feel about this track?
Wait, Rock of Love is already a show too, isn't it?
Yes, that's with Bret Michaels from Poison. Great
All right.
band, by the way.
But Pyromaniac of Love Romaniac. Love Romanciac.
Pyrophiliac.
Ooh.
No one came up with Love Bites yet? Love Bites? No.
Don't shoot your shotgun.
But yeah, this sure is a version of Rock and Roll All Night, isn't it, guys?
It
Sure
It has
is.
to be on there. What can you say about it? I mean, it doesn't have the party. It's like rocking and rolling all night without the party.
I don't even know if they're really rocking that much. It's just like, it's here. We knew it had to be here, so it is.
Yeah. In fact, you know what? They didn't even record it for the album. The reality bent around them because it was so inevitable that this song would be on it, that reality just put one there, and they never even recorded it, but it was just there when they manufactured the CDs.
Which still ranks higher than most of the songs in this album.
Yeah.
I have a question for my fellow people who know a lot about this band. The part where they go, you keep on shouting, and then it just cuts to drums. Does that not make you guys laugh a lot? I find that really funny.
No, I think it's awesome.
Okay, I've always found it be like, you guys are shouting so much, and then it's just like...
Well, live, then he ramps up the crowd during that section.
Okay, but that's still very funny to put into
the studio version. Instead of a guitar solo, they're like, we need a drum break where people are supposed to scream at their record players.
Well, it's giving you that anticipation for the chorus. We're just like, oh man, I can't wait. I think it's very good build up, and I think it's actually good songwriting. Says the guy who thinks this is a classic. Like it's a classic for a reason. I enjoy that part.
Well, and these lyrics have been misinterpreted for years, and it's time someone set the record straight. Hello, I'm Gavin. Here is my joke.
Yes.
The reason for that break is that it's not, that's a period, right? So you keep on shouting is the complete sentence. And then the next thing is, you may be shouting, end of thought, but I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. It's about the band keeping people locked in boxes. And then they keep screaming, but they're like, no, I'm partying. You ain't getting out of this box.
And the thing, eventually they're going to hear the shouting, though, because they're rocking and rolling all night, but only part of every day.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
That's I'm Victor, and that's my joke.
Greg, what's your joke?
This whole album.
Yeah. Got him.
Where was this when we were doing Live to Win a couple weeks ago?
Live to Win's a great album. I love it.
Yeah, nothing funny to say about that.
Or Gene Simmons.
Have him record a 3-hour episode before talking about Live to Win and see how his opinion changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew scheduling 2 things in a day where I'm just so meh about both.
Scheduling 2 things and then adding a third.
Because I'm not even I don't want to acknowledge that right now because that's something that came up in the news.
A drummer was real rude to have died this week.
Yeah.
This is going to come out months after that, right?
Yeah, I know. So people are going to have to do the math.
Yes.
But
I'm going to kill a lot of drummers in the next coming months.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. All right, fuck it. We're going through the ranking from the bottom to the top. I'm done with the shitty album. Fuck.
All right, I'm done talking about this crappy song.
All right, from the bottom of the shitty album to the top. Christine 16, Forever, Butchered. God damn it. I Love It Loud, Black Diamond, Lick It Up, Harder Than Hell, Better Than the Original, Fuck You, Gavin, Heaven's on Fire, Do You Love Me, Love Gun, I Was Made for Loving You, Detroit, fucking Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, Calling Out to Love, Rock Roll Night, but the best song on this piece of shit album, fuck, god damn it, it's Deuce, and it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, that's about how I describe it. Fine, I guess.
I don't want to talk about Kiss anymore.
Congratulations, team. We finally broke Greg.
Broken.
You've only got broken. 2 more albums. You can do it.
This is worse than my childhood rape. Fuck this album.
Oh my god. Wow.
Fuck! Okay, Deuce, it's a great song. Victor, you're wrong. The riffs interplay together great. It's clever songwriting. Fuck you. This is a damn classic. It kicks ass. It's a rocking song. This version is acceptable for what it is on this shitty album, but there are so many better versions of this song. It's probably better than the original, which is annoying. Fuck!
Now, Greg, is it better than the Alive version?
No!
What about the Alive 3 version?
Absolutely not, because that's better than the Alive version.
Whoa!
Simple math.
Hang on, Greg.
Transitive property, Gavin.
How is the Alive 3 version of Deuce better than the Alive version
It
of Deuce?
kicks more ass.
But in what quantifiable way?
It just rocks harder, and it's like a little bit more metal, and like there's more power behind the drums, and it's just a little bit cooler.
Can you really quantify ass kicking?
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose.
What about the Smashes version?
Well, that's just terrible, because everything on that is terrible. Except the new songs, which are enjoyable because they're silly.
Is there like a Destroyer Reloaded or whatever that thing was that version of this?
Is there a what?
Destroyer Resurrected.
Destroyer Resurrected or whatever that was?
No, it was not on Destroyer. I think I'm shifting. I'm coming back down. Serenity now. Serenity now.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Everything
Just
on here
wait
is
till
still
the Sonic Boom episode.
everything on here is still better than Boomerang.
Yeah.
Just have to remember that Boomerang is a thing. This isn't the worst thing Kiss has ever done. Boomerang still exists.
Please don't talk about Boomerang, Greg. We've already been talking for 2.5 hours just on this episode today, and I need to edit these and go to sleep at some point.
Oh my god.
Then I guess I won't bring up how Gish is a
I don't even care.
Anyone get the chicken? No, it's a chicken
Gish is better than Carnival of Souls.
No,
I mean, you're right.
No, Carnival of Souls has actual hooks on that album on certain songs.
I can sing you the entire Gish album. I couldn't do that for Carnival of Souls.
Hey, I got something.
What's up?
Gish is like if Thin Lizzy covered the White Album.
Oh.
All right, so everybody check your bingo cards. You should have them filled out by now.
Something Frozen.
You don't need to do Frozen again, Greg. You've covered it already this episode.
Did I? I don't know. This day has been a blur. Talking about shitty things all day. You know what we've been talking about today? A shitty series of movies and the Rocky films, which are great. The shittiness of one of the greatest drummers of all time dying because death is terrible, and then this piece of shit to close out the day. Fuck!
Anybody have any thoughts on this particular arrangement of Deuce, I guess? I guess I need to take over as host since Greg's broken again.
It's too slow and the guitar solo is played badly.
Yeah, that's fine, sure.
They could have at least done the cool live outro on this.
Goddamn right, yeah.
Jamie, you got anything?
Gene sounds fine. The riff's mint. That's about it, isn't it?
The original guitar solo though there's so many little acisms, like Deuce, that solo more than almost any Ace solo I can think of in the 5 seconds I've been trying to think of it, is just a stack of weird little acisms, and Tommy does not do it justice. His
little acisms.
His failures failures, you know, are
his failures, as they were.
Well, yeah, that's what failures. Failures.
So is acism like when you're, prejudiced against Italian drummers, or oh wait, no, he wasn't a drummer, he was a guitarist.
Wait, what?
I ruined my own joke.
Yeah.
Acism. Now, I'm not acist, but...
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Thank you.
There it is.
Victor picking up my slack because he's the expert in all things Kiss and our own podcast.
Yes, and also expert where he ranked the song at the bottom and it won the ranking.
Wait a minute. This reveal-loving motherfucker over here. Fucking Summer Turns to High. God damn, I can't even remember any other song on that album. Maybe something about the beach ball, volleyball.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
that's a lot better than Deuce.
Oh. Oh, you lucky Greg holding me back.
I don't know if he is. I think Greg would
lucky.
throw me to the wolves.
No, I'm in the fetal position at this point. I'm just broken.
So how about that overall ranking? What did you think about this
I don't
album?
think we didn't get Jose
Oh, it's true, we
and
didn't get Jose.
Jamie to talk about. Oh no, Jamie talked about Deuce. Jose to say words.
All right. Actually, well, it was my top pick off this album, and because it's my all-time favorite Kiss song, I only have warm and fuzzy feelings about it. But you know, for those Thayer-like guitar parts, there's like a nice little bit after the first riff where it almost sounds like the rhythm guitars are going to start playing "Escape from the Island." That just was the one thing that jumps out at me every single time. So you know, I like it. The outro could have gone on longer.
That would be amazing if when they did this album, if in each song they found a place to strategically put the Escape from the Island riff into it. That would be so great.
That would have been a good troll.
Because what this album really needs is to be longer.
What this album really needs is to be music from the Elder.
I mean, yes, it's a much better album.
I agree, 100%.
Quick poll. Who likes music from the Elder better than this album? I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably not, actually.
What?
I'm willing to go there.
So,
I like Boomerang better than this album.
Ooh, I mean, I get that. I get that.
So are we on the final
Yeah,
impression
we're on
section?
the final impression, so go ahead.
Let me give you my hottest of takes. Like, this ranking did things, I don't know. I don't really care. My overall impression of this album is that it is either the least essential Kiss album of them all or the most essential Kiss album of them all. And that if you already listen to Kiss, then yeah, you don't need this album because you've got the original versions of these songs, which you probably like better. But if you don't listen to much Kiss and you're just kind of vaguely aware they exist and like, oh, I need a Kiss album, this is a very coherently organized and mastered version of almost all of their most popular songs. If you only want 1 hour of Kiss music in your life, you could do worse than this. This is a really good choice for that. So, most essential Kiss album for non-fans.
Counter, couldn't they just buy a greatest hits CD where they just master the original versions on equal footing?
Yeah, but then you're going to get like the old songs that aren't very well recorded, and it's not really going to flow together as well as this one does.
Double fucking platinum, my dude.
You've never listened to it.
Whoa, really? You never
why would I
heard Strutter
listen to-
78?
Why would I listen to a Kiss Greatest Hits album? I don't like Kiss that much.
It's got Strutter 78 on it and a bunch of weird, like the weird rock bottom intro leading into She, and it's a pretty singular experience listening to that album.
Hey, Strutter, that's a good song. Why wasn't that on here?
Oh, could you imagine what Strutter would be like on this album?
Kind of suck. Who would care?
Yeah.
I could.
If
But
they
here's the
did-
trick. Non-Kiss fans who don't know what they're buying and just want like all the best Kiss singles, they also can't imagine what Strutter would sound like on this album because they don't know it exists.
But it doesn't have all the best Kiss singles because Crazy Crazy Nights is not on
It's
here.
true. It doesn't. It has some very distinct things missing from my own. Like if I were to put this album together, they've missed a couple things. Black Diamond would be fixed for one thing. Crazy Crazy Nights would be there, but like I don't know. They didn't consult me. Assholes.
So basically what you're saying is like, hey, the idea of a Kiss greatest hits album is fine, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
What a hot take. A greatest hits album being a thing for someone who's only a casual fan is fine. What
And
a
if you
hot
want-
take.
If you want the TV ad versions of songs, there you go. They got you covered.
All right, so Steve's
Essential.
hot take is that greatest hits albums are fine.
And this is a fine greatest hits album.
All
So
right.
one of the more coherent ones I've ever heard.
Motherfucker. Okay. Jose, go.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
All right. So that's your thoughts on the ranking. Just get me the fuck out of here. Why have I been talking about this so long?
Just it's an album. It's part of the catalog, but it's not one that I think most fans will ever listen to again. I only listened to it because I was forced to for this episode.
Forced to. You all volunteered to be here.
I mean, no, I asked everyone and they agreed. So sorry about that.
I got a Facebook message saying, "Here's the recording date," and I mean, please continue to do that. I will do any album for this show, but it was just like a solemn a solemn feeling overcame me, and I knew that it was my grim duty to have to dive in to Jigoku Retsuden and
write
be here.
Baller fanfic about it.
But I didn't wake up this morning thinking, oh, I should write the second part. I was just,
inspired.
I was taking a shower and then it just kind of hit me all at once, and then I wrote it.
You emerged from the shower feeling dirtier than you ever had.
There was initially going to be Doc McGee was initially going to be in this one. And then he was going to become possessed and do the whole jingle cute catsuit Dan or rat suit Dan. He was going to do that. Then there was going to be at first Peter was going to give birth to this little white clump that was going to separate into Tommy and Eric, and they would kind of walk around weirdly. That was another idea.
So what you're saying is this really went through a lot of revisions and thought before the final version gestated and emerged pulsing from your mind womb.
Well, I was in the shower for like 2 hours.
There exists.
That's the
there
most
exists
unwholesome
a
thing
journal.
I've ever heard described happening in a shower.
There exists a journal of the wills of this fanfic.
All right, so Gavin, final thoughts. This ranking, this album, go.
I feel like this album is a grim inevitability in the timeline of a band like Kiss, much in the way that if you owned a small business that had 2 floors, you're going to have to get the elevator reevaluated and get that safety inspection.
Get it on file with the city comptroller, whoever that is.
Yeah, so or you gotta re-up the thing that needs re-upping, and that's exactly what this is. This is a corporation
re-upping the thing they gotta re-up.
Re-upping the thing they have to do. And we listen to it.
Note to self, do the dumb things I gotta do. Touch the puppet head.
This I wager that this episode, and I think this is the only album we've done
It'll
that
be a multi-parter.
Well,
because
okay,
we're the
so
only Kiss podcast to commit more than one episode to Jigoku Retsuden.
Go us.
Yeah. But these episodes are more artistically valid than the album itself. And
I agree, and I hate that that's a thing. This show sucks. It's a shitty podcast. Also, thanks for listening to our shitty podcast and being on our shitty podcast. I hate everything. I'm sad.
To follow up on that, have we now spent more time talking about Jigoku Retsuden than the band itself spent recording it?
Yes!
Probably,
Yes.
yeah.
All right, Victor, go ahead. Talk about... fuck, I don't know.
Fucking anything. I could not have possibly had any assumptions about where any of these songs were going to land, although I suspected Rock and Roll All Night was going to be pretty high. Other than that, I don't know how people feel about any of these songs. I think they're all mostly okay. And I've only listened to like 2 Kiss albums all the way through, so this is my second favorite.
High praise.
What was your first one?
Oh, I guess it's my third favorite if you count Live to Win. But Greg had me listen to Rock and Roll Over.
Oh yeah, it's a great album. Yeah,
yeah, it was a lot better than this.
Oh yeah.
And hey, you listened to One for All.
Oh, okay. So then it's my third favorite.
Jamie, words.
Yeah, ranking seems perfectly fine. I did love this when it first came out, and I knew no better. just because I loved Kiss that much. I've learned since then.
Learned my lesson.
I don't have final thoughts. I'm just dead inside.
Would you say,
go ahead,
Greg, is this more or less psychologically devastating than the Speedball Jam episode?
Oh, this...
He already compared it negatively to being sexually assaulted as a child.
Yeah,
So
But I feel like that happened in the Speedball episode too.
Well, here's what I would say.
yeah.
If I'm ranking trauma...
I can't wait for that episode where we all give our
Just rank Greg's trauma. You guys are going to be around for the roast episode, right?
yeah.
Which will come out before this one does.
All right,
actually.
so what I would say is
time travel.
talking about Jigoku for this long was one of the worst experiences of my life, and I was around friends and people that I love and respect, and I still hated it. So this might be the worst thing that has ever happened to me as a person. Speedball Jam, at least it's kind of funny. This isn't even funny. This is just bad. I hated it. And then Rape is probably below those two. Because,
Speedball Jam was also only 70 minutes, and you got to have the schadenfreude of watching me be traumatized at the same time.
Like, I got to see you.
We were traumatized as a team.
Right. And this, it's just, this just broke me. But the version of Hotter Than Hell on this album is pretty cool. Well, that's our episode, Internet. Excellent guess. Where can we find you, Victor?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at TheVictasticK, and you can find my music, which is eerily similar sounding to this album, at James Gameboy on Spotify, Bandcamp, and Patreon.
And it's about Paul Stanley's dick. Now this girl's gonna get some of his dick.
That's what all of Victor's songs are about Paul Stanley's dick.
Yep.
Yep.
Especially
It's a
the
tribute.
REM covers.
Yes.
It's a tribute project that I'm using for my entire life.
Jamie, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me, or you can find my band under Be Quiet Shout Loud on Facebook, Twitter, all the streaming services. Go give us a listen. There are guitar solos in there, which in 2020 is a rare thing. And we have an album coming out in a couple of months, and that should be great. Or maybe it won't be.
I appreciate the honesty. Seldom does an artist say, our album should be great, but it might not. Only hard-hitting journalism and integrity on the Lipstick panel.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Speaking of people with integrity, Gavin, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Zanga. Well, my band is Bent Knee, so I'm at Bent Knee Music on all of those things. You can read my nope, I can't even put a joke together anymore. I'm in Bent Knee. Go find me there. Earlier, Greg said Jigoku, but it sounded like Jim Goku, just like a businessman Dragon Ball Z character. So I was going to make a joke about that, and it failed. I'm sorry.
My soul.
I have since seen Bent Knee live, and they're very good, and very good live. The new album's good. I sucked Gavin's dick after the show, and that that was very much appreciated, especially given how weird that venue was. A lot of like stuff went wrong. It was wild.
It was very strange. The smoke, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff happened that night to all three bands that played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
That whole show got filmed, or our set at least got
Oh really?
So you'll see it again.
Oh boy.
And Julian, where can people find you on the internet? I'm sorry, Jose, where can people find Julian on the internet?
You can go over to the KissFAQ.com message board and tell everyone why we were so wrong in our opinions about the wonderful, wonderful Jigoku Retsuden album.
as Dumbledore ponders with his gigantic brain.
Steve, where can people find us on the internet?
They can find us at lipstickgeneration.com and Lipstick Generation under Zillow and Zola and all the other social networks. LinkedIn, maybe? I don't know. I didn't create it, but it might be there.
Jazz is an accident.
Waiting to happen.
Yes. Waiting to have happened.
Thank God we're done. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for enduring with us.
We made it, team. We did it. All right, hit record. Hit record, you motherfuckers. This going?
Yes, we're recording.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a fucking bone after this intense...
motherfuckers today.
Okay, there are tracks on Gish I would rather listen to than the entirety of Intense Transmission from Hell. End of episode. Bye. Hit that button.
Well, wait a minute, Greg. Is your grand point that there are 4-minute songs that you would rather listen to than this hour-long album?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not
because if so,
hot take.
Yeah, that's
What a
guy.
He's just a poor kid from the stupid ages.
Daydream. I want to listen to Daydream right now.
Because that's a great song.
It is a great song.
Ages. Yeah, what about
Marry Me? That's a great song.
Okay, hit the button because I don't want to do too much editing.
What about Chorus in the Ring?
Chorus in the Ring is great. Great song. Okay, I'm going to hit the button because I don't want to keep editing.
You didn't tell me what button to hit.
The end the recording button.
And sodomize our vast imagination.
Thanks for listening to the Lipstick Panel, hosted by Lipstick Generation. Lipstick Generation's music can be found on all major streaming platforms and at lipstickgeneration.com. If you're listening to the podcast on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your ranking of the subject in the comments down below. Feel free to leave us an episode suggestion also. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app, please leave a review and tell a friend about our show. Thanks and rock on.